Liverpool closed the gap on Manchester United to just 4 points after a very close game against Fulham at Anfield, but they get the win, and that is 5 wins on the bounce for Jurgen Klopp's men. And Erling Haaland at the Etihad scores goal number 35 in the Premier League season. No man has ever scored more Premier League goals in a single season than Erling Haaland. He's closing in on Dixie Dean's 92-year record of 63 goals in all competitions as he makes it goal number 51 for their campaign. And it wasn't a tap-in. It was a delightful, delicious chip. And are we looking at maybe the greatest finisher to ever play football in England? He's a ridiculously good footballer, but as a finisher, the man, I hate saying it, I'm a Man United fan. I love my club. We've had some brilliant strikers in my lifetime. But is this kid Haaland just a step and a level above the rest? We're going to talk about that tonight. Here, tapping merchant here. Are you all right, Cyberdesk? Are you okay? That goal tonight was no tapping. It was a chip on his weaker foot from about 17, 18 yards out on the angle. It's not a tapping as far as I'm concerned. But I want to start with Liverpool. I want to start with Liverpool because they're scaring me a little bit. Legitimately, Liverpool are worrying me right now. 5 wins on the bounce, closing in on Man United. It's well within our hands. There's a 4-point gap. We've got 2 games in hand. Win those 2 games, and that 4 points suddenly becomes 10 with just 4 games to play, meaning we would need to pretty much lose every game, which isn't going to happen. But it does make the top 4 race a little more nail-biting, a little more exciting, and there is very little room for Manchester United to make any mistakes. Liverpool have been a team up and down all this year, but their form of late in terms of getting wins is slightly concerning. But I trust Man United. I think Man United can go on to secure this self. But we all kind of predicted you would get this from Liverpool at some point this season. Maybe when the pressure was completely relieved, maybe when they've been totally written off and all the sort of talk about their bad season had died down. They're just winning games, and they're not even at their scintillating best because Fulham tonight, if they'd have scored and it had been 1-1, it would have been a fair result. If Tottenham drew with them, it'd be a fair result. If Nottingham Forest had drawn with them, it would have been a fair result, but they got the win. And what we don't do on the football terrace is become hypocrites. When Arsenal this season have won games that they maybe didn't deserve to win, we say winners mentality. When City win games that they maybe didn't deserve to win, we say winners mentality. So 3 games running, Liverpool haven't been the best team by far on the football pitch. They've maybe edged it, but they haven't been outright the better team. But they've picked up 9 from 9. And you have to credit that. You have to credit a team that is picking up those points. And it's a really interesting. Are you okay, Dev? I'm praising your team and you're saying cry. Are you okay this evening? I hope you're doing well, my friend. From my point of view, you've just got to credit Liverpool for that. No banter, not going to attack them, not going to say anything negative about them. They're getting the points on the board. And a lot of us predicted this in January. A lot of us said maybe Liverpool can sneak into a top 4 position. The fear for me right now as a United fan is Newcastle looks scintillating, 1 game a week. They look like they're handling this pressure perfectly. Will Man United respond tomorrow night against Brighton? Make sure you're all tuning in for the match reaction for that one. Adam here says Tottenham to finish 6th or 7th. Probably, definitely. And it's another bloody prediction I've got wrong. I predicted them coming 5th and got abused for that one. They're even worse this year than we all expected. But Liverpool got lucky, plain and simple. The dirty bin rats are not getting top 4. Listen, Whiskey Deck, I hope they don't, because it may be at the expense of Man United. And I know there's a lot of controversy tonight in relation to the penalty that they picked up. Was it a foul? Was it a dive? Was it soft? I would love your view. I would love your opinion. I would love your take on this. I'd love your take on this. But from my point of view, I would say it's soft. But if you say it's soft, that means it's a penalty. For me, there is contact. For me, there is a foul because he impedes the player. He tries to pull out, but he can't get out the way. It's a penalty. Eze's penalty was given at the weekend, and Alvarez's penalty was given at the weekend, and they were all deemed fouls. This was every bit as much a foul as that. My frustration isn't with Liverpool getting the penalty tonight. It's those soft penalties in the past 3 months that haven't been given. One that stands out in my mind as a United fan was Rashford versus Southampton on the 12th of March, where he goes past the goalkeeper. The goal, just like this one tonight, but on the ground, the goalkeeper's trailing leg catches Rashford. It trips him up. Should have been a penalty. But because we don't know what the referee saw and what VAR said, it wasn't deemed a clear and obvious error and they didn't give it. But this is where VAR and the referees become laughable. Because if these last 3 penalties we've all seen with minimal contact are deemed penalties, then if Rashford or any other player in the last 3 months has had minimal contact upon them and it hasn't been given and VAR hasn't overturned it, it makes no sense. Because clearly if the ref hasn't seen the minimal contact, then it's a clear and obvious error and it should be overturned and awarded. So again, I think Liverpool, I think it was a penalty. I think it was a penalty, but yeah, there's going to be a controversy. We'll talk about it on a panel a little bit later. You said 4th, Terry. I changed Liverpool Spurs to 4th later on in the season. I'm talking about my original first predictions. I think I put them coming 5th. Then I said 4th when Spurs and Liverpool dropped off. But then I think I changed it again. I think I changed it again in January. My final predictions were Arsenal, City, Man United, Liverpool. So yeah, I think I said Liverpool might snatch it. I thought Newcastle would drop out. Yeah, I've got a lot of my top predictions wrong this year, to be honest with you. But most people have, barring anybody that predicted City to win the league. Everybody's got every other prediction wrong because no one predicted Arsenal coming second. No one predicted Newcastle in the top 4, and no one predicted United in the top 4. So literally every single one of us in the terrace community is taking big L's this year on our predictions. But does it really matter? Do we care? Not me personally, but there we go. Todd here says City. I'm going to go back to City's one in a moment. What's that coming into the box? Haaland, the monster. We'll come back to that again. Brighton to shock United. Well, I don't think it would be a shock tomorrow night, my friend, because most people are predicting a Brighton win. So I wouldn't necessarily call it a shock if they're considered favourites. Remember, if you're going to banter United by saying Brighton shock us, you have to predict a Man United win to begin with. Otherwise, it can't be a shock and the banter's dead. You get what I'm saying? Imagine predicting Chelsea to come 12th and then going, you're 12th. Doesn't work. That makes sense. That makes sense. Terry, the undercover Arsenal fan crying inside like a clown. Are you okay as well tonight? You're a Chelsea fan. I've praised Chelsea many, many times in the last 3 to 4 years when you've been good. What's up, my friend? I know it's hard with Chelsea being down at the minute, but listen, you keep plugging away, keep supporting your team, and I'm sure they'll turn it around at some point in the years to come, my friend. I hope you're feeling good, and I hope you're getting a lot of love in your life, buddy. Hope you're well. Terry, would you take Matoma at United as a Sancho replacement? Potentially. We are linked to Kingsley Coman and Mbappe today if the Sheikh comes in. I'd rather them two, but we will see what's happening. We will see what is happening. But yeah, look, on Liverpool, as I say, they've got a real chance here at top 4 if they just keep winning these games, because they've rode the little storm of average performances and winning games. They're building confidence. And if Man United don't pick up 3 points against Brighton tomorrow night, that door is going to swing wide open. And I'm fearful of it. I don't want there to be a race. I want United in it clearly with no pressure. But for the Premier League, this is needed because most people think the title race is over. If the top 4 race is over as well, we've got a month for dead rubbers. So I think most neutrals are probably hoping for United to drop a few points. At least then there's some excitement between now and the end of the season. We're going to come to the Man City stuff a little later. So all your super chats on City, we're not just going to get rid of them. We'll come back to them later on down the line. You said Man City's penalty on Sunday was not a penalty when he was fouled, blocking him. Yet Liverpool Nunes is a penalty. Look, for me, as I said about Alvarez, is you didn't listen to me properly, my bro. And if I said it wrong, I apologize. I'm talking about the inconsistency where for many months, those soft penalties stopped being given. So that was the first one I'd seen of these soft penalties. And I was like, that's not a pen because none of the others have been given. Now I'm seeing multiple soft penalties given, meaning there's obviously been a change in protocol. So once I learn something new, my mind changes with critical thinking. Now my concern is, well, how unfair is that on teams that didn't get soft penalties 2 or 3 months ago? The Premier League has got to stop changing its protocols and its standards during a season. It's ridiculous. They did it a few years ago, where in the first 5, 6 games, they were giving penalties galore for pulling shirts in the box. Then they stopped doing it. But what about the poor bastards who conceded penalties and goals and lost points for that rule, and certain teams gained? Then it's thrown away, so it can't balance itself out over a season. That's what's wrong with it. Not the decision tonight, but the protocols. No problem with that being a pen. Seen them given in the past, but when clearer fouls don't get given, like Richarlison's last game, that's the problem. Listen, you're a Spurs fan. I'll give you a great example. Matoma against Tottenham. How that wasn't given, and these last 3 penalties have been, is a madness. They're either all penalties or none of them are penalties. Imagine how Brighton feel. They should have had 3 points extra in their pursuit of Champions League football, but they didn't get it. Now teams are getting those softer penalties. It's unfair. Not the decision tonight, the protocol change. But yeah, as I said, I think it is a foul tonight. Diop goes for the ball, pulls out the way, catches the player. It's a foul. It's got to be given. On City, look, we are going to bring the panel out to speak about this on the show. Haaland's feat shows why the Premier League is the greatest league. Jude should come to the EPL first special night. This also says, what's that coming into the box? Haaland, a monster, a monster. Is that sung to the same song about the Manja Vidic one? I don't know is it Kings of Leon or Kaiser Chief? Somebody. Anyway, Haaland tonight. My gosh, this man is. I've praised him a lot this year, and I'm going to praise him again tonight because the level of goals Haaland scores, the level of consistency from this man is absolutely phenomenal. It's unprecedented. Thierry Henry, Harry Kane, Aguero, Rooney, Cantona, Cole, York, Sheringham, Rush, latter part of his career, Fowler, Owen, Hasselbank, Drogba, Anelka. I'm going to miss names. You can keep reeling them off of top class to world class strikers that this league has had. And many of them have played in astronomically talented Alan Shearer. They've played in teams that are almost beyond reproach of how good they were. Some of the greatest teams in the Premier League. And none of them have done what Haaland has done. 51 goals in all comps, 35 in the Premier League with how many games remaining for City? They've still got 5 games remaining. This guy's probably going to break the 40 goal barrier. Many people doubted him. Many people thought that, there were people at the start of the season that said 15 goals tops. He'll struggle here. They just weren't watching him, or there was a jealousy, or he's rated higher, or he's better than their favorite player. Nobody was assessing him, or because he went to City, there was like, fuck you, City. I don't think anybody was assessing Haaland with a full heart and clear eyes. It was all shrouded, drenched, saturated in bias, hate, jealousy. But this man, there is an argument to say he is the best finisher the Premier League has ever had. Ever. I know it's only one season, but if you look at his body of work beforehand, his Champions League record, his international record, and what he has done, year 1 in England, I've never seen a better finisher than him. I don't think he's a better overall football player than Rooney, Aguero, Thierry Henry, even Harry Kane. I don't think he's a better overall footballer than these guys on technical ability. But as a striker, as a finisher, and for me, I believe that finishing and putting the ball in the back of the net spatial awareness to be in the right place at the right times, holding your runs, the actual pressure of finishing. It's the hardest skill in football. That's why there's very limited people in the world ever at any one particular time that have the ability to score even above 25 goals a season, let alone 35 league goals and 51 in all competitions. This man is not, I think he's beyond generational. I think he's beyond generational. He's an alien. And he has the ability to go on to become one of the highest goal scorers, one of the best finishers in the history of football, with the foundation he has set at such a young age. And it just needs to be said that he is. It's hard to enjoy him when you're a United fan, Liverpool fan, Arsenal fan this year. It really is. Because I'm someone that a lot of people talk about how much they loved watching Henry when they were kids. I didn't, because he was actually the main guy for my biggest competitive rivals at the time. Despise the man. As I've got older and he's retired, I've appreciated him, because when he left Arsenal, I can't tell you, it was one of the happiest days of my life from a footballing standpoint, because he was so deadly. So I understand people feeling that way about Haaland, because Haaland's more deadly than Henry. He's a better finisher than Henry. The amount of goals he scores, it won't take him at this rate. It's only going to take him a couple of more years to surpass 99% of all strikers that have ever played here. And he ain't slowing down in this City team. He's not going to suddenly turn up next year and only score 20 goals in all comps. He may not hit 51 plus again, but he's going to be scoring between 40 and 50 goals, in my opinion, 2 or 3, 4 years running. And the people that doubted him, I would love to not, oh, I told you so. It's not about that. I'm not a child. I would love to just hear their views now, or, how or why their minds have been changed. A lot of people are saying happy birthday to me. It's not my birthday. My birthday's in December. So I don't know where that's come from. Very weird. Why are you all saying happy birthday? Terry's moving mad. It's not really moving mad. Someone said it sounds like recency bias. Chris, I get your point, but this can't be recency bias. It cannot be. He's breaking records that have stood for nearly a century. If he beats Dixie Dean's record, he's the highest goal scorer in a single season in the history of English football, the oldest history in the world. If they go on to win this damn treble with it, it would equal the single greatest achievement a team has ever made, with a man scoring more goals than anybody else in history. That isn't recency bias. That is quite literally history. He is setting a standard that's never been set before. He's already done it in terms of most goals from a Premier League wise. No one's ever set a standard as high as this. And they may go on to have the joint best season in the history of English football. So that's why I'm saying there is an argument to say the best finisher of all time in the Premier League. He hasn't got as many goals as other people yet, but he's going to catch them. No one believes this man is a flash in the pan. Nobody believes he's going to be a one-season wonder. He just isn't. It's absolutely crazy what this guy is doing. And of course, look, the one thing you won't have on the Henrys, the Drogbas, the Rooneys is a catalogue of clutch goals in multiple tight seasons, semi-finals and finals. He could get 2 or 3 this year. Those guys have got a body of work that spans longer, so I don't think he'll surpass their overall legacies in one season. But I've never seen a finisher as good as this guy in the Premier League. And listen, I watch Ruud van Nistelrooy, I watch Wayne Rooney, I watch Andy Cole, Dwight York. I've had Ronaldo at my club. I've never seen anything like this. And I'm old enough to, I've watched the whole Premier League since day one and remember it all from day one. We haven't had a finisher like this. Do you know how I know that? Because no one's ever scored 35 goals. It is what it is. It's never been done. But there we go. Why is everybody saying it's my birthday? Just out of interest. Like, what is the joke? Maybe I've missed the joke. But there we go. There's a super chat here that says, thoughts on Gakpo outscoring and assisting Anthony. Congratulations to Gakpo. If that's true, I haven't checked the stats, but well done to him. I don't have any thoughts on it, just well done. Liverpool can get a max 69 points. United needs 7 points from 6 games, which includes 3 home games. Old Trafford is a fortress now. Liverpool ain't getting top 4. I'm confident of that. Just a little worried, though. Just a little worried. And maybe that's 10 years of my club being very inconsistent, Dan. But let's hopefully we can do it, be in the Champions League next year, and no Scousers allowed. No problem with that being a pen. Seen them given in the past, but when clearer fouls don't get given, like Richarlison's last game, that's when. Bruv, I hear you on that completely, Cal. Terry, look up the 4 Tunes cartoon, Erling Haaland Monster Song, and you'll find it. Okay, I'll have a little look, Debbie. No problem whatsoever. Tad here says City win under pressure. Arsenal crumble under pressure. Still think City have a chance of winning the league. Shout out to AFTV. Yeah, that was a crazy line from Julian last night. He thinks they have a chance. But yeah, look, City are just imperious. And it was a very good first half, really, from West Ham. One mistake at the back from Agbonga, who was actually having a really good game. And then after that mistake, it was done. And when they tried to come out and play, it was done. Yeah, I'm still not getting the birthday joke. Did someone just say it and you're all just kind of... I'm not triggered by it. I just don't understand if something else has been said. I want to understand the joke so I can laugh with you. I just don't get it. Just don't. But there we go. Right, I'm going to bring my panel out now, people, to have their say on the show tonight. Make sure like buttons have been hit. Make sure you're subscribing. Cake tail. I don't get it. You're being punked. Right. Is that all it is? Is that the joke? Just saying happy birthday. Okay, cool. I thought it was something I'd said. I thought it would be funnier than that. I thought it was going to be a good one. But thank you. I don't know what else to say to it other than that. But there we go, peeps. Right. It's time for the panel. Let's do this. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Big wins for both of you tonight on the show. So that's from V. Obviously, a big win for City tonight. Really important 3 points. Haaland, goal number 35. Talk to me, V.
Listen, this is when it hurts to be out here in Toronto, man. I'm not able to be at a home game witnessing a record that Haaland just did, witnessing 1,000 goals. The home fans being able to cherish and be a part of that, absolutely amazing. I thought that we played the type of game that was required. Look at West Ham. They kind of set back and they made it. They were strong defensively. They made it tough. But I was confident that we were going to win that game. And I'm confident that performances like that, requiring everybody to step up, Ake, Foden coming back off of surgery and playing the way he did, and Haaland is an absolute monster. You see how he changed gears to run into that space. Absolutely amazing. I don't care what any of you rivals have to say. He's not the best footballer. Okay, show me a better scorer. He's the best we're witnessing. All of you, you're witnessing the best ever to score goals in the EPL. Cherish it. And make sure that you remember he plays for Manchester City. I thought it was a great game, Terry. I know Arsenal fans were probably holding their breath. That even after that first goal, they were like, maybe. And I could hear the exhale. I could hear the damn when that second goal went in. So we continue on. We're going to the very end, and let's keep this momentum going with Leeds, and then obviously we'll talk Champions League when the time comes. But Leeds is next.
I get that. Hamza, how far or big or good or bad a shout is it? I don't know why that just moved again. How big or bad a take is it that Haaland's the best finisher the Premier League's ever had?
It's accurate. It's accurate by far. Like, we're very privileged to see such a player. We're very, very lucky. He's a generational talent. You don't get players like that. Him and Mbappe are on their league of their own. There's no way, not any other footballer as a striker in the world sits on the same table as these two. We're very special to have him in the Premier League. We're very special to have him in Manchester City Football Club. And he's very, very lucky to play with this caliber player, because these caliber players are elevating him. I think we predicted this. We saw this as a youngster when he was hitting 9 goals when he was a youngster. We saw what he was doing at Salzburg. We saw what he was doing at Dortmund. What a great choice that he made to come at a football club that's going to progress him. He's only 22. People don't realize that these are great strikers that couldn't do this. Thierry Henry couldn't do this. Ruud van Nistelrooy couldn't do this. Luis Suarez could not do this. Andy Cole. He broke Andy Cole's record by 8 to 10 games. 8 to 10 games. That's amazing. He broke Alan Shearer, who was Mr. Goal Scorer in this league, by 8 to 10 games. And these are players who are taking penalties regularly for their clubs. Haaland takes penalties, but they have to argue with Mare sometimes, who's taking the penalty, or someone else has to take the penalty. Henry, Suarez, Van Nistelrooy, all these guys were taking penalties game and game out. No one was taking penalties off them. He could have broken this record by probably 4 or 5 goals. 5 games to go.
Yeah.
We had 4 games to go. 5. Yeah, we've played 33. And I've said it, and people say, oh, you can't say that. I say, he's that generational. Players like R9, he's a goal scorer. You don't tap in goals. We missed chance. If goal scoring was that easy, where are these goal scorers? Why is Darwin Núñez missing sitters? Why is Jesus missing sitters? Why is Rashford has been trying for how many years missing sitters? Why is Martial 50 million missing sitters? Why are those players missing sitters? Why did he take Henry sweating so much to score 20 league goals? Why? If it's that, because you know what? Tapping is hard. It ain't that easy. You have to have brains to get in that box. You can't just stand there if you think it's a tapping merchant, that means you haven't played as a striker. You have never played as a striker. You need to make that run and beat that offside. You need to be that clever. I think for him to be that clever, he's as good as Maldini being as clever as a left back and not making rash tackles.
Professor.
To be there.
Professor, Professor, are we witnessing the best Premier League debut
by
ever?
Far? Absolutely. Fact. First season by Drogba. Didier Drogba scored like around 10 goals in the Premier. He was struggling. First season by Thierry Henry was scoring 15 or 16 Premier League goals. He has surpassed that by 20, and the season's not even done. He's only 22. Remember, he's only 22. It's gonna get better. That's how talented.
I want to ask the rivals on this. Don, who's like, we are going to come to Liverpool a bit later in the show, but Don, from your perspective, like, how good, not all bad, but how good is Haaland's debut season? And I know he's only been here a year, but where do you see him ranking in terms of overall finishes this league's ever had?
I've never seen a better debut season. That's why I'm here today, because I had to pay homage, man. I had to pay homage. For you to come in your first season and break a long-standing record that's been in the league before I was even born. I was born in 97. So I wasn't around when Shearer broke that record. So for him to do that in his first season is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, man. We've seen strikers like Henry in this league. We've seen Suarez. We've seen Aguero. We've seen Drogba. We've seen Torres. I can keep going. And this guy's done it at 22 in his first season. This is madness. Like, I would have loved him at Chelsea, but not in this environment that we're in, right? But it's, for me, the only thing that I'd say is I wish you had a bigger fan base, because he deserves better than what he got today, man. He deserves better than what he got today, because when he had the Guard of Honor, the stadium was half empty. That's the only thing that I'll say with Man City, because yeah, it's great he's doing it in our league, but it would have been better to see him do it at a bigger club. I'll be real with you. But apart from that, he's amazing, man. He's amazing.
I hear you. This Liverpool fan here says Salah's first season as a winger. Now, Salah's first season at Liverpool was good, but that wasn't his debut Premier League season. His debut Premier League season was at Chelsea. So that was his second debut. So I want to be very fair here to Haaland. I think Ruud van Nistelrooy's debut season was top class. Who else had, like, who's on top of your head? First season against Suarez was pretty good, but wasn't that his second or third? Was it his second or third season where he did the madness goals and everything else?
The second and a half.
Yeah,
yeah.
He joined in the January, didn't he? But I'm honestly, I'm talking strikers here, because when you look Yat Stam as a centre back, his debut season he wins the treble. He was imperious, so it's harder. I'm just talking attackers here and strikers as opposed to midfielders and those things, because I want to sort of do it like for like. And I didn't even think about that until you guys brought it up. It's I can't think of a striker whose debut season, and this guy could go on to win a treble this year as well. You add trophies.
Don't forget, he can win a Ballon d'Or. He can win the Ballon d'Or.
I think the only one that comes close is Torres. Torres' first season when he got 31. I
Was
think
it-
that's the only one that's close.
Yeah. Was that 31 league goals?
31 league goals, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a very good year. But what did he win?
That's irrelevant, that one.
No,
City
no,
haven't won anything yet.
And I'm not digging him out.
That's bad. That's bad.
I'm just trying to be like, obviously, like, Dwight York's his debut season in the Premier, it was his debut at Man United. I just can't think of one off the top of my head. And there might be somebody out there that can pull a name out of the hat where you go, yeah, you know what, like his season. Someone here says Isak. Isak's had a very good year, but again, and this is what's crazy as well. And let's be very careful. Hamza, I saw what you were doing there. I'm not saying that Cole and Henry and Aguero and Rooney, they're amazing. And this is the thing, right? The one thing I try to do at the Football Terrace is I don't subscribe to this. There's two world-class players. The one I think's better is because the other one's shit. I don't like that kind of analysis. It's boring. It's dry. It's not 2017 anymore. It's over, right? The Ronaldo Messi era started that, and it's going to end with those two players. None of the individuals that I think this guy's surpassing are scrubs or bums, and I won't have anything bad said about them. But we're just witnessing something here, which is, in my opinion, and it is unprecedented because he's breaking the records. By definition, it's unprecedented. And the goal tonight, what I loved about his goal tonight, and again, as a United fan, I didn't like it, but just the football fan in me watching it was like, I'm so glad it weren't a 2-yard tapping because it was actually a ridiculously taken goal. Where if, for instance, certain other players in the Premier League, if they did that,
Havertz.
If Kai Havertz did that, there'd be a statue. Got a statue for him. You know what I mean? It's true. It's true. And yeah, the guy is just crazy. Was it Central C did his thing today? Central C.
I think he was talking about Darwin.
Okay. We'll come on to Liverpool in a little bit. Is that okay? That's a Darwin thing. I didn't even know. Terry, Bruno had a mad first year. Listen, midfielder. That's why I said attackers. Do you know what's crazy? In Bruno's first full season in the Premier League, he did what Haaland's done for midfielders. No midfielder in English football history has scored as many goals in all competitions as Bruno. But there's a difference. Man United didn't win anything that year. And when you break records, but you're not winning anything, they don't get remembered in the same way. If we'd have won the Premier League that year, like with that goal scoring record of Bruno's that season, remember, more than Lampard, he beat Lampard's record, who had the Premier League one, and he beat Sir Bobby Charlton's record. No midfielder has ever scored as many goals in a single season as him. But when you're not winning those medals, it just don't hit as hard, which is what the irony in it is this. It's why when people say to me, you can't use trophies as a personal accolade, then why hasn't Bruno's season been crowned as the greatest midfield season of all time? We know why, because man didn't win anything with it. And in reality, we never do that, but we only do it to play people down. We're being called out here, Tom.
I've checked it. No, I've checked it. Yeah, I got it wrong. It was 24 league goals. It was 33 in all comps. I got it wrong.
So you know what? Do you know what's mad?
You added 7.
Yeah, do you know what? Right?
No, because I went by his all comps. I went by his all comps.
Misapplied the number.
It was a little mistake. But do you know this is what's crazy? That debut season of Torres's was a madness. He was amazing. Haaland scored 20 more goals than him. That's what's crazy. That's why I keep saying to people, I'm not overplaying this. You think about all the greatest debut seasons. He might double some of them. He could get 60 goals by the end of the year.
The thing is though, Terry, the reason with me, like as much as I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm a football man, yeah. And when I saw Rory Jennings saying what he was saying about Haaland before he came to the league, I just ignored what he was saying. But there's a lot of people. There's actually a lot of people that believe what he was saying and had the same thoughts around Haaland and what he would do in the Prem. But the guy's done it wherever he's gone. Like, if you're good enough, it don't matter what league you play in. This guy is generational, like Mo said. He's generational. So I'm just happy I'm witnessing it in our league. That's the main thing.
And another thing, the thing that's going to be missed. It's not going to be thought about. But Pep has taken Haaland off after a hat trick 60 minutes into a game. It's not like he's been scoring these goals late 90th minute stack padding. Like Pep has actually taken them off. So, man, sky's the limit for him.
How many has he got this season in the Prem? Is it 4?
How many hat tricks? He had 3 hat tricks at home in a row, and I think he's had 4 hat tricks for the entire season.
Yeah, he's had like 6 or 7. But you know the funny thing I wanted to say is we've got so much delusional fans.
Here, you can put Hunter on the main.
Before he came on, to this to the Premier League, people say, "Oh, Pep can't play with a number 9." I said, David Villa was a striker, Valencia. No, he was not. He was a winger. No, but Haaland is a Bundesliga merchant. You can't. It's Bundesliga player. I was thinking, are you serious? No, look at Darwin Núñez when he missed the chance against Liverpool in the Charity Shield. Liverpool fans were like, "Oh my God, look what he's doing." People laughed at this guy. And you need to apologize and just say, listen, you all got it wrong. And it's sad to see that for you guys to see a rival like City to have that player, you must be
Well,
jealous.
we had this conversation with Big Steve earlier, and this is the great thing here. It says Haaland's best attribute is anticipation. Again, reading of the game is as an attribute. Anticipation, reading of the game. It's hard to equate a particular stat to that. That's where the eye test comes in, and the fact that he's nearly always in the right place at the right time, more regularly than anybody else in the world right now as a striker. It's just an unprecedented, alien-like ability to read the game. The guy is reading Latin in brow with no hands. Like, I don't know how the hell he's doing it. It's absolutely crazy. But we were speaking about this earlier. Like, Man United have been linked today with Kylian Mbappe. We're linked to Haaland as well. And if we're going to win the league next year, we're going to need a player like that. And look, Mbappe might. I don't think Mbappe is as far-fetched as people think it is if we get the Qatari owners, because there's already a connection and the money's there. But I was listening to Gary Neville tonight, and he basically just said this is the difference between City now and in recent years, that you could be sitting deep with the ball, but within 3 or 4 seconds, you've scored a goal. You didn't have players that could do that. And I think teams have got a respond in kind. And Liverpool have that when they're purring with Mo Salah. Mo Salah can do that. Every team needs it. Rashford can do it to a degree at Man United, but not on Haaland's level of finishing. So that's why you've got to look at an Osimhen, Harry Kane, if we could do it. And I don't think Mbappe will happen, but that's what you've got to aim for, because you've got to fight fire with fire. When Barca and Real Madrid were going up against each other, if one of the teams didn't have Messi or Ronaldo, there wouldn't have been a competition between the two sides, because the goal-scoring prowess of each of those players would have taken them far beyond the other team.
Yeah.
If Messi had left and gone PSG 15 years ago, or Ronaldo had stayed at United, there wouldn't have been a race between those two clubs.
Yeah.
It would have been the other one dominating. And I think teams have got to respond to this guy by going out and trying to, they've got to get some goals, some more goals in there.
And that's why I was asking Jess yesterday, Terry, about Jesus, if he thinks they can win the league with him, because he's not clinical enough for me. I don't think they will win the league with Jesus. I know I'm taking it away from Man City today, but it's a good point that you make. We're up against Haaland right now. Every team needs a clinical striker if we're going to close that gap. So this is where we're at, man.
And United, I don't understand why, when I'm talking to a lot of United fans, and sometimes you're trying to, like, I know that I'm a City fan, but sometimes you're talking to United fans and you're like, I think the best thing for you to look at right now would be Kane. And some people say, no, he's 28 years old, we don't want him. I was like, Kane would walk into that team of yours and change a lot of things. I don't get why people reject Kane. Yes, he never came to City, and maybe we could have never seen this amazing thing of Haaland. It's destiny. But imagine Kane at United in the team you have, just with a few players you've bought. I think he changes that team. I don't see Kane going to this Madrid or Bayern. I think he wants to stay in England and break more records. But I don't know if you guys, what do you think about Kane at United?
Man United fans are a weird bunch at times. There's a lot of like personal ideology in terms of this is how I see football and how it should be played. And there's no kind of gray area for people. I don't like Kane. I want a faster player. Man United fans, when Zlatan signed, he scored 27 goals in his debut season for us. But Man United fans said he took us backwards because he was too slow and we couldn't attack with as much speed. We then struggled for years after when he left because we didn't have a prolific striker. It's uneducated football opinions that's been derived from playing too much FIFA. Well, we all know on FIFA, if you're a half-decent player, fill your team full of pace and you win. You know what I mean? But I always remember, you buy players on FIFA or get players on FIFA that in real life had wicked passing ability. If they were slow on the game, there's no point having them. And exactly. I don't know what it's like now. It's when I played it 3 or 4 years ago. And people's football opinions, honestly, are too stemmed in computer games. Everyone's got to have power and pace along with their skill. And it's great to have that. Harry Kane changes Man United. So did Mbappe. So did Osimhen. But yeah, I hear you guys. I want to say as well, Liverpool did did play tonight as well. And Tom, that's 5 wins on the bounce. You confident of closing in on Man United still? You must be.
Look, we're doing all I asked us to do. We're winning every game. We're winning every game. I just need Brighton. I need Roberto. I need future Liverpool midfielder Alexis. Moises, all these lot. Come on, do me a job tomorrow. Give me something to cling on to. But I saw a mad start just then. We've picked, since the turn of the year, we've picked up more league points than Arsenal.
Really?
That's what yeah. They've picked up 32. We've got 32.
Yeah, it's not a lie. It's true.
So that's what's sitting there when I look at this system. You can tell we need transfers. Oh my God, Jordan Henderson. I apologise for whatever crimes I committed in a previous life to be subject through what Jordan Henderson right wing centre mid thing, because it doesn't work. The man got injured playing a back heel today. His body was that allergic to a back heel, it got injured doing it. So you can tell that we need some signings. We could definitely do with the left centre back, a DM to go alongside Trent, a right centre mid, a left centre mid. But get those in, and you've got the makings of a title challenging team again. You have, but I need to give all the credit to Trent. He has been an absolute revelation in this role, an absolute revelation for us. In a team that has lacked any semblance of midfield control, he's come in and already looked like one of the best midfielders in the top 6 when he's in that position. His range of passing, the way he's able to just switch it, his tempo control, it's so good, and it makes me sit there and wonder why we didn't just do this earlier.
So Tom, you guys stole our scouting reports a couple of years back, and is it now you kind of stolen our inverted fullbacks, and now you're having success?
Yeah, I'm more than happy to admit it.
Hey,
most teams
cool.
steal it.
That's shameless.
There's no innovation in football anymore. It's just what idea is working, go nick it. I mean, I could say the same thing about you taking our false 9 when Aguero left.
Touche.
So, like, it swings and roundabouts. So, I just like this new system.
Alex Ferguson was doing false 9s in the early 90s with Ryan Giggs. What were we talking about?
All right.
I'm only joking.
No, I know.
No, but look, it's 5 out of 5. It wasn't a good performance. I don't think we've had a great performance. We've had good spells in games. I thought the first half was all right. I thought we had a lot of good performances. And then once again, this thing that we do where we get to the second half and decide can't be bothered playing anymore. Need to sort of nip that in the bud, because we can't keep grinding out these wins because we're not as good defensively as we used to be. But for now, it's working. We just got to keep winning these games. We've got Brentford next Saturday, another iffy one. Just get the job done again. And the only other thing I'd say is today, I know Nunes played, and if I wanted to be shameless, I'd say we're a better defensive team with him because our last 2 clean sheets were in his last 2 starts. But you can tell how badly we miss Cody Gakpo. When Cody Gakpo plays, we are so much better. So much better.
I get that. I think the Trent thing, I'd love to get G's take on this as well, because I feel like with Trent, I'm glad it's the second time in Klopp's career he must have watched the Football Terrace and listened to me. I said to him, you'll never win anything unless you get a world-class goalie and sort out your back line. He went and signed Alisson and Van Dijk. And I've been saying all season, Trent's got amazing attributes, but he's not a right back. Defensively, he's not a right back. He is a midfielder. He's a creator. He's a playmaker. He's now been moved into, I know it's an invert. I mean, I've seen loads of different names recently, inverted fullbacks. There was another name I saw recently, a creative defender. I saw someone write, whatever it is, the centre mid hybrid role. I don't care what you call it, but he's been moved into that position, and his weaknesses are now being covered, and his brilliance is now being elevated again. Is it a bit frustrating that it's taken until April and May to start doing it?
Yeah, 100%, man. Because at the end of the day, Klopp was the one telling everybody that he doesn't want to put Trent in midfield. He was the one telling Gareth Southgate that Trent isn't a midfielder; he's a right back. So to now put him into that midfield position, I think what he's done with Trent more so is he just got Trent on the ball more. And I think when you've got your most creative player on the ball a lot more, you're seeing what's happening now. He's getting the ball, he's picking it up. We know about his passing. At the end of the day, his passing, when I'm watching him now, it's not amazing me in terms of, oh my goodness, he's doing amazing things, because Trent was doing that at right back. Do you know what I mean? Like, we saw that at right back. But at right back, you're not getting the ball as much as he's getting the ball now. Now he's always on the ball. He's picking up from the centre back. he's the one that the centre backs are giving the ball to. He's the one that when he's in, would we say the final third, he's the one that the team are looking for to start creating things from those kind of central areas. And he's able to pick out a pass from probably a wider range. Whereas before, from the right-hand side, you've only got one real area to put the ball in, which is just try and whip it in. Do whatever you can, just whip it in. He's got the technique to do so. Now, this guy can, spray it out left. He can spray it out right. He's got a left foot as well, which can, ping the ball to the other side. And I think the fact that Klopp's finally just said, you know what, let's get our actual most creative player who's shit defensively. Let's actually get him out of defense and put him in a position where he can actually affect games a lot better. We're not playing that much better. I don't want to get too overly excited. I don't think Liverpool are playing that amazing. But as Tom said, 5 wins out of 5. Do you know what I mean? So we're just still kind of like chugging along, just hoping that Man United slip up or somebody slips up so we can kind of, just keep pace. But with Trent, it's one of them things, man. Like, I just don't understand why now was the time for you to decide after watching him for the last 5 years. Did you genuinely think that he was that good at defending, or was it other components of our team that made him look good in the defensive positions and stuff like that? But we're here now.
Exactly. And I always felt with Trent, when you guys were at your best, you had the workhorses in midfield that would cover his defensive positions, and it supported him. And it was never really a dig at Trent. I mean, I'll call out his mistakes, but after 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times of seeing him exposed, you have to look at the manager and say, well, why are you using him in a system and in a role where his weaknesses are being exposed massively? And I always remember this story that I heard Tiger Woods tell. That he said when he was younger, he was very bad at getting out of bunkers, and his dad, for weeks, all we're doing is bunker shots. And he said he wasn't getting any better. But he said, Dad, I drive the ball straighter and further down the course than any other young golfer in history. Let me just work on making sure I don't land in bunkers, and then we don't have a problem. And essentially, that's what he did. Of course, he got better at getting out of bunkers as he got older. But sometimes it's a case of develop his brilliance and use your. And this is a team sport, right? So he's not a boxer with like an Amir Khan's jaw that you can't build muscle on. It's a team. So build a system that covers his weaknesses. Because someone put a comment in here saying he's the only player ever to get 5 assists in 5 consecutive games twice in the history of the Premier League. That's because his passing range, his creativity, and his vision to see opportunities he's one of the best the Premier League's had. KDB, David Beckham, Gerrard himself, Ryan Giggs was a great crosser and passer of the ball. He's up there with those guys in terms of his ability. So put him in a role that sees the best of him come out. For me, it was always an obvious thing. And I always felt, to your point there about Southgate, one of the reasons why I always felt one of the things I always felt about Klopp, I felt he was angry that Southgate did it because Klopp always wanted to be the person to do it first.
Yeah,
and it was always and I get why, because that's managers. I think if you are a manager of the level of Klopp, you have to have an element of arrogance about you to even make it that far in any kind of walk of life. This comment here says, okay, none of these are about what we're talking about now, so we'll come back to them in a moment. In terms of Liverpool, Don, I wanted to ask you: do you see them maybe catching Man United, or do you think Man United are just going to have a little bit too much?
Who have you guys got left? You got Brighton. You got Brighton tomorrow. I know that.
We've got
What's
Brighton.
your remaining fixtures?
So let me just get them now. We've got Brighton away, and then West Ham away, back-to-back games.
Yeah,
which are tough, and then we are at home to Wolves, away to Bournemouth, and then we're at home to Chelsea, at home to Fulham, and that's it.
Oof.
you'll pick up enough points. Yeah. I think you'll pick
I
up
think
enough.
I think you'll pick up enough points. I think Liverpool pretty much can't drop any more points now for you to not
They have to win every single game.
Yeah, they have to win every single game. I just don't see Liverpool doing that, because even today I had both games on, and Fulham, if they were more clinical, they could have done something. And Alisson again saved them. There was a chance when Vinicius Junior? He had an opportunity there as well, like to score, and Alisson saved them. So for me, I just don't see Liverpool winning every single game now. I think United, you've got it wrapped up. You're going to beat us away when we've got your Old Trafford, Terry. Definitely, that's 3 points there already. And yeah, I think you've got enough games at home now to get that wrapped up. I just don't see Liverpool.
Frank Lampard's due a win. And he
Nah,
loves Liverpool. He loves Liverpool. Do you not remember when he told us to go do one
Tom,
because you won one league
Tom,
title? He's got to pay us back for that.
Put it this way: Haaland is going to get 40 goals in the league before we get to 40 points. We're not winning another game this season. That's it. We're done.
I swear you're on 39. Fucking
We're
hell.
on 39 points. We're not getting another point this season. It's done.
It's an interesting one because Liverpool are 5 wins on the bounce, but Man United are 4 wins and 1 draw, like in a row as well. So our results have been good. Both teams have had sketchy performances. I think the next 2 games are important. If we beat Brighton tomorrow, I will say it's done because that's our hardest game remaining away to them. Because of our 3 home games and our home form has been so good this year, or since the opening game of the season, I'll be confident. If we lose to Brighton and don't beat West Ham, then I think, and as long as Liverpool win their game this weekend, then it becomes a fucking really tight race where nobody can make a mistake. But if we get 4 points in our next 2 games, I'd say it's over. Do you know what I mean? The next 2 games for Man United are massive. So yeah, but at least it's making it a bit exciting because there's nothing much else going on in the league right now. This super chat's here. This says, my question is, will Mbappe go to the Premier League? Who will sign him? I say Newcastle.
I think you'll take about Manchester United
to go to Newcastle.
Yeah, that would be crazy, I think. But I think you'll take about what you said about Man United. I feel like that would be the only club that I would see him go to, because if you do get this whole Qatari thing, if you guys get that money, I feel like Manchester United is kind of the club for him. You know what I mean? It's one of, if not the biggest club in England, like the history, the economics, everything behind Manchester United just suits a player like Mbappe. I can't see him going there's no other club that I can really think of. Man City have already got Haaland, so he wouldn't obviously go there. Chelsea, not big enough. Like Liverpool, economically not big enough. Arsenal, not big enough. Chelsea, these teams are just not big enough for him to kind of go there and continue the brand.
What do you mean Chelsea not big enough? What do you mean by that?
In terms of just everything that's associated with football. When we think about the Premier League, the first, would we say, 2 clubs you would think of isn't Chelsea, isn't Arsenal, isn't anybody else apart from Manchester United and Liverpool. So straight away,
I would disagree with that, man. You can't.
I'm not even trying to discredit Chelsea in any way, shape, or form. In the last 20 years, you guys are probably, I think you've been the most successful team, I think, in the Premier League. In the Premier League, 100%. But when we're thinking of the actual Premier League in itself, again, I think to the wider audience, they're not thinking Chelsea. Forget this season. Erase this season from your memory. You're still not thinking Chelsea in the back of your head. You're always going to think, obviously Manchester City, but in terms of just the Premier League and in terms of heritage, you're always going to think Manchester United. You're always going to think of a team like that. They're the biggest club. Like, they are way bigger than a Chelsea football club. That's just out there for people to see themselves in terms of the revenue, in terms of everything to do with Manchester United. I don't look at Chelsea and think, yeah, Mbappe is the kind of club that he would go to continue the brand that he's been obviously trying to work upon. If Manchester United have the money, I feel like that's a dunker right there. I feel like, why wouldn't you go to Manchester United? Like I said, the biggest club, if not one of the biggest clubs in England.
Personally, if we get the Qataris, I think it's plausible that Man United get him. I don't think we will, but I think it's plausible we get him because they will. I think they will. I think they would do almost. I think they would want to make a signing like that. And equally, you've got to do this response thing to Haaland, but we will see what would happen with that. This is an interesting comment. Terry is so biased. Trent is incredible. One of the sauciest Englishmen in history. Terry, please confront your biases. Just to the Liverpool fans, have I been nasty about Trent tonight? I just want to check my Trent privilege. So, yeah, I didn't think I was being biased praising him. I almost forgot Chelsea scares me. It's from Nabil. Thank you very much, bro. None of the top 6 get an elite Mbappe level striker. City shall dominate until he leaves. Look, I don't think that's a bad take. But I think Liverpool have got one in Salah, as in an attacker, if you sort the rest of your team out. And we've seen him do that before.
You think, though, but Terry, do you think, when you think Haaland, when you think Salah, who's your money? Who would your mortgage be on if you needed last minute goal, through on goal?
It's Haaland. You right now, like honestly, if you were to turn around to anyone in the world of any club and say, because Messi and Ronaldo are old now and they're not at the same level they were.
Mm.
1-on-1 in the last minute to win a thing and your house is on it, you're picking Haaland. But I don't think there's, probably barring Mbappe, I don't think there's anyone else in the world who is as good as him. So you need to give as good as you can get. But I don't know how many more players around the world Liverpool could sign that genuinely in a good season for your club could outscore Mo Salah. Maybe Mbappe.
Oh, no, none.
It's the thing with it.
But, like,
We
and that's the
won't
problem.
be able to compete with a Haaland.
a bit like-
We can't go blow for blow with Haaland. We can't. No individual player on the market can go blow for Haaland.
Mm.
The only slight argument you will potentially have is we can potentially spread our goals out a little bit better because we don't go everything through Salah. I think that Man City, because he's such a presence, Haaland, in the box and everything, and in a nice possible way, Jack Grealish doesn't score many goals. Riyad Mahrez doesn't score many goals. There's almost a chance to force the ball through Haaland, whereas we can, let's say it's not going through Salah because it didn't really go through Salah today. It went through Diaz, and Diaz was really good. If it doesn't go through him, it can go through Gakpo. If it doesn't go through him, it can go through Jota. We can spread it out a little bit more evenly. Whereas Haaland can go get you 50, because I generally believe if he was fit for all 38 games, played all 90 minutes, he's getting you 50 in the league.
Yeah.
We can get 30, 20, 20, 15 across the entire attacking line. Whereas I don't see City being able to pull that out.
Totally agree. It's a bit like the question, we need to go and find a manager better than Pep. Well, one don't exist. There isn't a better finisher in the world than Haaland. So you're never going to get someone that completely scores as many. But yeah, you've got to do it. Terry, where do you think Messi goes in the summer? He might go back to Barca, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him
Saudi Arabia.
Because
That money being up is mad.
Yes, you've got to remember this as well. So people are going, Ronaldo already wants to leave. Go back and listen to the Ben Jacobs reports back in December. I was out in Qatar with Ben. And the way it works is the Saudi team he's with knew that he would leave and probably leave again in the summer, but they will continue to own his image rights. That's why they did the deal. So that for the next 5 to 6 years, they own Cristiano Ronaldo's image rights, which are powerful. So he'll still be used on billboards and all these types of things. And that's maybe what Messi will do. But yeah, I think Messi's done. I mean, and by the way, if Messi leaves the Champions League as well, Ronaldo will start to relax because that Champions League goal record won't go. But yeah, I think he's done. He just, listen, he was good at the World Cup, but European football is a different pace. And he just looks, it's so hard to say this about Messi. He just don't look at it anymore, you know. Mbappe needs 2 things: money and a team ready to win now. Rebuilds will not attract him. Yeah, look, I think you throw him again. We're talking hypotheticals here, so no one get angry. You throw Mbappe and a world-class midfielder or 2 and a brilliant ball-playing goalkeeper out the back. Man United are ready to compete. For me, it changes the game, but that's just my take. Nabil here says, I don't know why you people talking about Jesus, Arsenal in the Premier League. They are bottle jobs and will become irrelevant. FSG in forever is what Nabil says. I mean, Hamza, as someone who, do you think Arsenal will become irrelevant from this point, or do you think they'll get better or maintain this quality?
I said it last season, and a lot of Liverpool fans laughed at me. I said, psychologically affects you if you had to play that level of football, so intense, win so many games, get nearly to the end. Bro, you get disgruntled sometimes. Liverpool had to do it again. I think Arsenal will never hit that level ever. That they will not hit that level, like going 247 days being top of the league. That will not happen again. Next season, everyone's going to strengthen. Arsenal will still be the top 4. They're a fantastic team. We have to give them credit, man. We have to give Arsenal credit. Saka, Martinelli, what Arteta's done. Incredible. He's recruited a very good young. No matter what, we're going to laugh at them, no doubt about it. But what they've done is incredible. But I think next season, everyone will get better. They will still be good, but they're not going to hit that level. That level of 90 points or 89. I don't think so.
I hear you there, bro. Honesty here says Mbappe will go to Madrid to become the face of the attack, and it looks like they are building a new version of the Galacticos. Look, I personally think that's where it'll go. We're only kind of talking about this based on trying to find somebody to challenge Haaland, and there was a report linking him to United today. But yeah, I personally think he's going to go Real Madrid, and it could be this summer. I think there could be there is a lot of talk, even though on paper the Qatari bid for Man United isn't going to be the same people, but there's a lot of talk underneath that it is. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a number of the superstars leave PSG, and if they get Man United, I wouldn't be surprised over the next 3 or 4 years to see a downturn in investment in France and the money pumped into the Premier League, because why would you not? No disrespect to PSG. They've done a really good job with the PSG brand and the Air Jordan stuff, but no one honestly, and this is, do you know why I want it to happen? To prove to people there's no such thing as the top 5 leagues in Europe. Because with PSG with no money, no fuckers watching French football, really. You know what I mean? About 5 people a weekend will watch it. It's dead. Modric injured, Milito suspended, Real Madrid not in form. Real Madrid,
we said that every time, though, don't we?
Yeah, I was gonna
We
say.
say that every time with them. We sit there and go, "Oh, well, they've got this injury and he's out of form and he's suspended," and then someone just comes up and goes, "You know what? I'll decide to have the game of my life and drag Real Madrid through." Or Benzema will just
Rodrigo.
decide, "Oh, I'll pull it out
Yeah.
the bag now." It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, I get that completely. I'm looking forward to that game, to be fair. Haaland showing stars where to shine. Premier League's biggest stage. Jude should have come here.
He's not even. Let's be honest though. Like, I'm definitely not being salty in any shape, way, or form. Is he better than Curtis Jones? Is he better than? I saw Curtis Jones stay dropping masterclass. I haven't seen Jude Bellingham do this against. He does it against Bochum. He does it against who else is the Schalke, Fulham, Joel Palhinha, Harrison Reed, Tom Kearney, true midfield stalwarts. And
Do you know what though?
Curtis
Do you know
Jones
what?
ran the
Do you know
game.
what? Hats off to Jude to want to go Madrid, because their fan base will not give you a chance to bed in. You need to be the Galactico from day one. So hats off to him at a young age wanting to go to Madrid as his next big move, because you would have expected him to at least go to the Prem first and then maybe go Madrid, but he's kind of skipped that stage. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when he's there.
Yeah, no, it most certainly will be. And you think but there are talks that either Camavinga or Tchouaméni could leave now. But we'll see. But again, there's only rumors and everything else.
It won't be Camavinga. It'll probably be Tchouaméni before him.
Yeah, Camavinga. I mean, I was surprised that it's going to be an intriguing one to see what happens there. And well done to Jude for securing the bag and the fame and everything else that comes with it. Terry Dom Hassam needs to shave his head. Yeah, sorry, I went to click on it and then it all moved on my screen. Yeah, he will, and I'm sure he'll do it on his channel at some point in the summer. Also, Grizz Khan, I need to call you out, bro. This guy must have messaged me, text me about 4 times in the last few months, just saying, "Hey, Jude." Obviously the Beatles track, and unlucky. All I'm gonna say is unlucky. I think that's the only thing that we can say in relation to this is unlucky. And there are a lot of people actually, like in the comments, giving me crap about him not signing, and I don't really understand why it's my fault. I never said that he was coming to Liverpool, but all I'm going to say to you is this: suck your mum. Yeah, I said it, suck your mum. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. Sorry, it's the best meme I've ever seen in my life. Big up Kano, aka Sully. But yeah, it's not my fault. Terry needs to shave his head. I ain't shaving my head. This cost me like thousands of pounds to have back. Like, I ain't getting rid of it, my bros. I'm really not doing that. Boys, I want to say thank you all very, very much for coming on the show tonight. It always means a great deal to me that you come and spend some time with us. Viewers, you're always amazing. Back tomorrow, content in the morning. I am doing Straight Facts with Hassam tomorrow. I'm not sure what time yet. I've got to go to a hospital for a checkup, and they moved the time from the morning to the afternoon. So when I'm back, fingers crossed with some good results, I'll be going live. Just got to have a camera down my throat. I'm really not looking forward to it, but there we go. Got to check. I'm getting old. They've got to check things. You know what I mean? It's one of them.
Ask him all about Curtis Jones for me, Terry. Ask him all about Curtis Jones and how good he is and everything, please.
I'll do that. They've got to give me thing is as well. Like, I'm not allowed to leave by myself. They've got to give me a sedative, right?
Terry, I wanted to say something about this.
I'll wait to get my sedative. I get an hour to chill. Sorry, go on, bro.
Just quickly. Just want to say about this Bellingham with City. Yeah, listen, no disrespect to Liverpool first. Yeah, if it comes out that you waited 2 years for this is the biggest L as a football club. I've always said the fact that you guys, I think that players caliber of Mbappe wants to come to Liverpool, man. 100%. When Madrid comes and knock, you're not in that conversation. Liverpool have never attracted world-class players. Never. And will never.
Stop.
No, I'm telling you now.
Hang on.
Liverpool, this is the problem.
Hang on, no, it's not a problem. Liverpool have never attracted world-class
top talent, the best in football.
Was Thiago not world-class?
They will never.
Was Thiago not world-class? Was Thiago not world class?
Fernando
Thiago
Torres.
was the-
Hang on a minute.
Thiago was
Fernando,
the best in the world.
Fernando Torres wasn't world
Thiago
class.
had literally just
No,
got
he
man of the
wasn't,
match
he
in a
wasn't.
Champions
Forget
League
forget
final.
Thiago, he's old, right? Was Torres not world class?
No, he was not the top striker in the world at that time. No way. No
But
way.
you
He
don't need
was
to be
an
the best.
upcoming striker.
Okay. So they've never bought world class stars.
Top talent of world class level, the best in the world. Liverpool have never bought. Name me one player that they've ever at the top level, top level.
Okay,
They don't.
so
They got Madrid.
hang on a minute. They haven't ever taken Real Madrid's best player. They haven't ever taken Barca's best player. But how many of Real Madrid? The genuine question, you might have a few. How many of the world's best players have City taken off the best teams and have already been world class?
We took Rubinho from Real Madrid.
No, Real Madrid didn't want it. Real Madrid didn't want it.
Haaland.
No, Haaland wasn't at one of the biggest clubs in the world as a world-class player. He was at Dortmund with a buyout clause.
But Real Madrid wanted him. We beat them to Real Madrid.
So other big clubs tried to sign Torres, but Liverpool got him. Man United tried to sign him when we were winning Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues. No disrespect to you, bro. I'm a Man United fan defending Liverpool.
It's a problem.
That's not a problem. You're lying.
No, I'm talking about the Luis Figo, the Nedveds, the Zidane.
Okay.
Caliber players don't dream to play for Liverpool.
Answer me this
sorry
question.
about that.
But Man United don't do it. Listen, how many times do you genuinely see an English club take a Luis Figo or a Nedved away from another elite European team when those teams are at the peak of their powers? It very rarely happens in any direction. Barca and Real Madrid have got a good success rate of doing it. But how often does it happen?
United did.
Do it.
United used to do it. Juan Sebastian Veron was at top level at Lazio when I saw him leaving Lazio.
Lazio
he came to Man United.
But Lazio in that time weren't the best team in
They
Italy.
were the Serie A champions at that level.
But yes, they might have won it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about the best players in the world, but not Liverpool.
Please. They weren't Juve or AC Milan with money and power. That's what we did. And Varane didn't really work out for us. I think what you're saying about Liverpool is wrong, my friend. Fair enough, they haven't gone out there and gone, right, we're going to buy Messi off of Barcelona. But that don't really happen.
But when I hear Real Madrid and Liverpool in the same...
And also, I do believe someone put in the comments here, and I remember this now, they might have won the league, but I swear Lazio were like on the face of bankruptcy when we bought Varane.
I don't remember. I don't think so. I don't remember that.
That's what someone said, but we'll see. No. But listen, I get where you're coming from. But the example you're using, very, very few English teams have ever gone to the biggest clubs in the world and bought their best players.
When Real Madrid are involved, Liverpool are not in the race. Please sit down. Please, you're not involved. City, I can guarantee you, we can attract players, but not Liverpool.
But you tried to sign Bellingham as well, and he's gone Real Madrid.
Yeah, 100%. But he's chosen. But the fact that Liverpool, Man City, and Real Madrid, the best sporting project in the world, is me and Real Madrid. It's a joke that Liverpool got the history and the what, but players don't dream to play for Liverpool over Real Madrid or now City with the best sporting project in the world. Liverpool, if I was a player, I came to Liverpool, I would see, what a mess. Are we joking? Why am I going to sign for Liverpool Football Club? They're in a mess completely. I'm not going to give my years to try and get to Liverpool.
Bro, I don't, that claim I can get on board with, but this notion that Liverpool, what you've done is you've done a bit of a league gunner. You've moved the needle halfway through. You didn't say players won't want to sign for Liverpool because they're a mess. I think a lot of Liverpool fans might agree with that, the best players. What you said is Liverpool have never in their history signed top-class players away from any other team. And you mentioned Luis Figo, so you're going back 20-odd years. When they have, because Man United, for instance, and many other teams wanted Suarez. A lot of other teams wanted Alonso. A lot of... but he was wanted. Go back and look at the reports from when they bought him. Your original claim was wrong, but you recovered well at the end, Hamza. You recovered well at the end. Listen, I want to say thank you to everyone who's tuned in tonight. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.